Oh, crap. Yar. Good start. Welcome. I just want to do a mic check and you tell me if you can hear me. Welcome in chat. Hello. I don't want to alarm you. I don't really have an eye injury. This is like Guy Caballero from SCTV says, this is the eye patch is for respect. Hello, can you hear a word I'm saying? Please let me know in chat. Ooh, we've got in chat. We've got, not even gonna try to pronounce that. Soli Deo Gloria, which means, hold on, I'm gonna try my best at like faking Latin. Soli means alone or sufficient. Deo Gloria means glory of God, I'm guessing. Soli Deo Gloria, did I get it? It's quiet compared to the ads, but maybe it's me. You know what? We can tweak that. There's no sense in suffering through low audio. So hey, I faked my Latin. Fantastic. Let me crank this up a little bit here. I'm gonna crank it to there, and then you let me know. Is that better? Is that worse? Am I clipping? Just let me. The reason I ask is because I got a new machine, got a new computer, and I've just spent weeks just trying to port every last setting. And when you stream, there are, believe me, lots of settings to port over. And already I don't have some of them working. And just as I tried to respond to Omelette, hi Omelette, in the chat, I was like, when you want music, here's music, enter. And then it's like, log in to Twitch chat. I'm like, oh my God, like everything. Oh my gosh. Better, no clipping. Fantastic. Welcome. Hold on, I got a scrap of nonsense on the table here. Let me just check here. Yeah. Look, that's funny. That's funny. That camera's not cameraing. That's an old image. Well, let's try to get that figured out in just a second here. I wonder if we can. Yeah. Okay. Now are we live? Wow, that's not even. Huh. See, it shows a little like toupee tape. That blue thing is the toupee tape that I use to stick my microphone to my chest, and it's not on the table. I was like, wow, why was I messy and leaving garbage on the table? No, that's a still image from 15 minutes ago. Hold on. Live troubleshooting. This is very exciting. For who? I don't know. Let me just try. Oh, well, that's not good. No, also not good. Okay, let's start. Yes, let's start with that. Let's start with the easy stuff. Okay, properties. I'm going to switch it to me, and then I'm going to switch it back to that camera. All right, are we not? Yes. Hey, Mr. Snowcropla. You're darn right, man. What a blessing and a curse technology is. But look at that, we got it framed up nicely. We got it going. Welcome. This was yeah, the eye patch is and then the tricorn, you know, there's three ways to wear it, right? With the point, this point, and this point out front, and only one of them won't give me a migraine. Poor pirates. The pirates had it rough, man. The Bucks moves, says the Great Nero. Welcome, the Great Nero. Welcome, first time chat, the Great Nero. So exciting seeing you on the Discord channel. The Discord channel, by the way, I'm already going to start promotions. Why not? Discord channel, the cool, go. Graphic, go. Come on now. Man, I thought stuff would work. I was so confident that things would work. Discord. Join us on Discord, it's great. I'm going to talk to you today about a game that I was very, very excited about like X years ago. You ever back something on Kickstarter and you're like, oh my God, you're like so crazy passionate about it. And then like, I don't know, 2-3 years goes by and it shows up at your door and like, oh yeah, that thing. I'm sure past me would be thrilled. That's the deal with this thing. Now, Sea of Legends is a pirate game. Let me tell you a tiny bit about the game. It's a co-op pirate game, and I already have this copy because the publisher, Guildhall Studios, commissioned me to make a how-to-play video for Sea of Legends. I don't know, if you were moderating and you want to throw that link in the chat, I didn't get a chance to put all the links in the chat. So if you want to check out that how-to-play video, that's what's going on. In the box, you get a rule book, sure, and you get a map of the Caribbean, fine, and then you get a big pile of minis. And we'll talk about those in a second. But what I want to say about the game, I want to say a few things about the game. First of all, I have a video up on the channel that where I do a Find the Fun review. That's our review series. I do a Find the Fun review of a game called Merchants and Marauders. And for the longest time, Merchants and Marauders was my favorite pirate game, despite its flaws. It's not a perfect game by any means, but of all the pirate games that are out there, that's the one that did all the stuff that I wanted a pirate board game to do. So it was great. I loved it. But admittedly, it had some challenges. Then along comes Sea of Legends, and Sea of Legends, I don't want to accuse them of this, but I'm just, from an outsider perspective, what it appears that they did was they looked at Merchants Marauders, they looked at, you know what, I got this keyboard thing, let's see if this works. This is really tempting the faint. The faints, tempting Merchants and Marauders. I spent hours making this work again. After I went to the new computer, it stopped working, but check this out. The fingers. Nothing's working, man. Nothing's working. As usual, for a nice around the table stream, we do our best. I was trying to make the cover show up. Wouldn't that have been cool? Dang it. Maybe I'll put it in post, and then all the YouTube people will be like, what's he so upset about? It's all good. Hey, DJ Mock V, welcome. Great. So, Merchants and Marauders. So it looked like what they did was they took the game and they'd be like, yeah, we'll do Merchants and Marauders, but wouldn't it be cool if this part didn't suck and this and da-da-da-da-da. So in my opinion, they fixed everything that was wrong with Merchants and Marauders and then added a ton of fun on top of that. That is what this box gives you. Now, when I talk about why I like certain pirate games over others, here's one key thing. Have you ever seen a pirate game that has a map of the Caribbean or the Caribbean? They're right next to each other, and then it's like they're trying to do like a grimdark thing, so the water is all murky and gray and everything. Look at this. This is Merchants and Marauders does the same thing too. You get a big, beautiful map of the Caribbean, and the water is that azure blue. And when I was younger, I thought, well, that's just, they just put that in the pamphlets and in the commercials and everything. Like, obviously the water's not that blue. And then when I was a teenager, my mom took me to Mexico for Christmas because we don't have a really big family. And one year she was just like, screw it, let's just go to Mexico. I'm like, yes, good thinking, Mom. And I looked out the plane window as we were getting closer to the Gulf of Mexico, and I saw water this blue out the plane window, and I was just like, I was like a kid on Christmas, because I was, in fact, a kid on Christmas, and I couldn't believe it because I thought that was nonsense. I thought they were just blowing smoke, but the water in Central America is that amazingly blue. So if you're gonna play a pirate game and it doesn't have blue water, what are you even doing? So love the map, looks great. I think it's a bit smaller than the Merchants and Marauders map. It's divided into zones, just like Merchants and Marauders. You tool around the Caribbean, and it's a bit of a sandbox game, just like Merchants and Marauders, in that you can go anywhere and you can do anything. So in this particular game, it's app-assisted. I've got to say that right off the top. If you're not into app-assisted games, see you later, because I know a bunch of people aren't, but it's one of the things that Merchants and Marauders did was it put quest cards on the board. So you get a card, and the card is like this big. It would block the entire zone. There wouldn't be enough room for ships or tokens or anything else because the card was taking up so much room. So that's one of the improvements that I think that Sea of Legends makes, is it takes all that that sort of cluster and clutter and just ports it to an app, so that you get the same kind of, you know, randomly drawn missions and things. They're just off the board, so you get to admire that board artwork a little bit longer. I should also say too, should have opened with this actually. I did not pay for this. I think I mentioned that actually. Yeah, they commissioned me. I didn't pay for this copy, and I didn't pay for the copies of the new stuff that I'm going to show you either, because in the course of making the how to play video for this game, and this doesn't happen with every game I'm commissioned to make, by the way, I fell the heck in love with this game. I adore it. And if you saw the top 10 board game video that Cheryl and I did maybe a year ago, I hope it's not longer than that because I'm aging. I named this, I think, my second favorite game of all time. I'm absolutely head over heels in love with Merchants and Marauders. Very excited for this, says Aradel. Aradel, you said you got half your copy, yesterday? We're Canadian, right? So here's how Kickstarter works with Canadians. Everybody in the world gets their copy, and then we just sit there and just wait for FedEx to, you know, notice me, senpai, please. And they eventually get a copy to us. So that's what happened. So everybody who ordered this in America and probably the rest of the world already has their copy of it, and the poor Canucks are in the back seat. That's fine. Sea of Legends never die. What are we dropping Goonies jokes for? I get the reference, but because Goonies is a pirate. And okay, great, I get it. Still waiting for that Goonies sequel. I don't know what's taking them so long. Yeah, everyone's gonna die before they get a chance to make it. Sean Astin's almost 50 now. Anyway. Great. So cool. See, what else can you do? Right. So this is really weird because I don't like cooperative board games at all. The thing I don't like about them, especially the style of cooperative board games where it's got like a big deck of bad crap and you're just like every round you're like, what happens, oh, everybody gets punched in the gonads repeatedly. You're like, oh, this is fun. So stuff like Pandemic where it's just like everything's awful and now it gets awfuler. I hate that. This is not that. I would liken this tentatively closer to a game like, and I wish I could bleep, bloop, bloop and show you the cover, closer to a game like Spirit Island, if you've ever played Spirit Island. Now, I didn't like Spirit Island very much at all. I can go into the problems that I had with it, but it wasn't my kind of game. But in Spirit Island, you've got an island. Look, now you have multiple islands. It's even better. Yeah, the big bad deck of bad things, that's exactly it. So you got an island in Spirit Island, and it's like a reverse Catan. There are literally white plastic colonists who are coming and taking over the island, and you play the island spirits or the island gods, and you're repelling them on behalf of, I guess, the native peoples there. And so you're pulling all these tricks, like one god is like the water god, so he's really good at like coming around the edges and like drowning them and pulling them into the water, and then one god is like a fire god. They got has to like blaze through their area control, set up really fast and knock a bunch of dudes out. So that's what the idea is. You're knocking dudes off the map. The reason why this is similar is because at the beginning of the game, you pick a couple of enemy factions, and it's not a fully cooperative game, it's a co-opetitive game. So every human player is trying to win individually on their own. They're trying to be the best pirate captain. But there are these factions that are on the board, and I'm going to, at the risk of a lot of blah, 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 I'm going to show you a couple of them. There are these enemy factions on the board, and if you're not careful, the bad guys can win. So the non-player characters can win the game, and then all the humans lose, which stinks. So it's either you're trying to be, I'll show you the big cool ones in a second. You're trying to be the winner, but you also have to sort of like sacrifice your goals for the greater good. So it's like, oh, this turn I could go do a quest and level up my captain and make myself stronger, but this zombie horde is getting, kind of out of hand. And if I don't do something to repel the zombies this turn, then, I'm going to lose and everybody's going to lose, and that's going to stink. So to that end, you had in the base game 4 captains. Now, these are primed. This was the game that got me into mini painting. The minis are so cool and the game is so fun, and I'm not a mini guy at all, but this is one of the minis. It's got a cat hair on it. Whew, that doesn't come in the box, trust. But this is one of the captains that you can play. This guy's the thug, so I think he starts out with a couple of extra strength points. I've zenithly primed them, so they started gray. I painted them black, and then I did like a dusting of white on top, which brings out the highlights, and then you paint them. Notice how these are not painted, and that's because I wanted to practice on other minis first, and now I'm kicking myself because the rest of the game is here, and now I desperately want to play this. But if you're as chicken as I am about painting minis in a board game, because that's really not my bag at all, or it wasn't, it is now. Here's what I can say to you, as I said before. Starts out gray, and it looks like gray. I'm not going to say crap because they are quite nice sculpts. If you spray paint them black, they look even better. If you spray paint white on top, they look even better. If you just lay flat color on top of that, then they'll look even better. Like every step you do is just going to make them look better and not worse. So don't worry about messing up your minis. And the one thing that made me take the plunge, because I was worried I was going to screw it up, and this is not a cheap game to buy, is if you really, really mess it up and you really, really want to restart, you can dunk these guys in something, I don't know, like dip from Roger Rabbit or whatever. You can get rid of all the paint and strip it back down to the plastic. So if you really, really hate what you've done, and I promise you won't, then you can do that. One of our friends on Discord, fella named Adon, had picked up some Army Painter speed paints and has had great fortune with that. He wasn't a big painter either, but he's been painting his D&D stuff. And the cool thing about speed paints is that they have a sediment that gravity pulls it down to the bottom and makes the paint darker at the bottom and it's brighter on the top. So it fakes that gradation that you would spend hours blending paints and being a good artist to do on your minis. The speed paints, you just go, and it looks awesome. Looks awesome. If you hit the Discord server, I wish I could promote it with a button, then join us and you can see some of Don's photos on the RPG channel. I think they look good. Or we got a projects channel. We're doing projects, we're doing crafts and things. Oh, so I should mention, right, so those are the 4 captains that you get with the base game, and then there are a number of factions that you get with the base game. How many? I forget because I haven't done my research, but some of them are, you can either play a captain, or if you don't like the idea of like a person floating around the board in the Caribbean, you can get a ship, and I'm going to paint these up all nice, or you can use the ships to represent the Spanish Armada, which is one of the enemy factions that floats around, and it's the only one that, because of game mechanics, you always have to include the Spanish Armada, and then you can pick a couple of other factions to go with you in your game. So some of the factions are the zombie Spanish, the conquistador, zombie conquistador kind of dudes with the Spanish helmet and everything. They look really cool. I'll get to the super cool stuff in a second. You've got, I believe these are the French or the English, I can't remember, but the guys with the guns, that's a faction. And then you got so you've got like terrestrial, normal nation sort of stuff. And then the game branches out into funky junk. So these are the mer people. So you've got like he's a scythe-wielding merman. And then you've got I believe these are the Atlanteans. So, you know, the tough ladies. She has, it's not myth accurate because she has both breasts. And if you know anything about is that the Atlanteans? No, that's the Amazonians. So she's good to have a full bust. Ryan, what are you talking about? I don't know. Go look it up on Wikipedia. Know your myths. Clearly I don't. Great. And then, so that's all. So they all have, these are all sort of like the grunts that you get in the different factions. And then, yeah, commands are broken. I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, when they open an amusement park and everything works and is beautiful and everything's got a fresh coat of paint on it. And then as the years go by, it just falls slowly into decline and disrepair. That's what the stream is at the moment. But I'm going to restore it to its former glory. Don't worry. We'll get there. Every faction has a boss, a big boss figure. So the zombie conquistadors have this cool guy. And usually... sorry for bothering you. Get the heck out of here, Acquisition Flaw. You give the Inquisitive Flaw. You're gonna get booted by Omelet. Look out, he's got the kick tools. Well, not all water parks. Which water parks are we excluding from that? Because I've been to a few water parks in a rough state before. Great. So yeah, this cool skeletal zombie conquistador is the boss of that faction, and then of the Atlanteans, it's this king. And it's neat because all of the factions have different rules. So it's not just like beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up, although that does help. You can, like, these, you know, some factions are like running around the board and there are tokens that they have to collect, and if they manage to collect all the tokens, that's game over for you. Of course, the zombies are going to like multiply. They're going to crank out more zombies and sort of like overwhelm it. Some of them are trying to take over certain ports. This is I'm getting there. The name of it is I don't know, but I looked at the pronunciation. Look, we can look here are the bad guy decks. If anyone knows what that monster is called, let me know. Oh, these are from the expansion. Hold on, we'll get there. We'll get to the expansion soon. That's why you're here, I'm sure. You've got, for every faction too, you've got tons of cool cards that are beautifully illustrated with items on it. I know this sounds like a big ad, but I really do believe in this game. I think it's really cool. I think it's worth your time and attention. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think so. So very much like, if you like a game called Lost Ruins of Arnak, you're gonna find sort of like similar kind of stuff like object art. If you like the object art in that game, then that's what you get here, right? Artifacts and cool stuff, characters and ships, and just, yeah, the illustration is just so nice and pretty, and you got that beautiful blue absolutely everywhere. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. These cards come out as you play the game and as you go on quests that the app queues up. Hey Omar, good to see you. I need to get painting all my minis. I know, same thing. Oh, and then one more guy I'll show you. Ugh, how does that guy go by? Not only can I not remember its name, I can't get it back in the box. It'll come to me. This is the British guy. He's standing like on a big screw you cannon shaped like a lion that's going to put a hole in your ship. So one of the neat things is that it's not just like, it is rolling dice for combat, and there are things you can do to mitigate your dice rolls, and you can beef up your captain and go on adventures so that your captain gets more strength points and, you know, gets cooler and better. But it's like, just like Spirit Island, or maybe this isn't like Spirit Island, but you can like, you don't have to fight everybody. You can make them fight each other. So as you go around the board, if it's your turn and you're like the leader player with like the star player token, you at the end of the round get to control all of the bad guys on the board. So they all have their things where like, this faction is going to always head east. This faction is always going to go to the nearest port. This faction is always going to attack the closest person. So they all have their own little rules, and they have their cards that show you how to do that with an upgrade that we'll see as soon as we get into the new box. But as the player controlling the bad guys for one round, you get to say like, well, I'm going to take the British guy and I'm going to move him into this section of the ocean so that he fights with that zombie and kills it. So like, we don't have to kill the zombie. The British guy will kill the zombie, right? So you can pit the factions against each other, and through creative movement, you can like move them around so that they dwindle each other's numbers, making it better for the players. Or if you're a jerk and the player and the numbers are looking good and they're on the player's side, you can drive the bad guys into your fellow players to make life rougher for them. And that's another thing that's better about Sea of Legends than Merchants and Marauders, is when you die in Merchants and Marauders, it is drastic. Like, you lose your ship, you lose all your stuff, you keep, I think, your glory points, but it's just like you get stripped naked and left in the middle of the ocean. You gotta start over, you gotta pick a new captain, you gotta, like, it's like, oh, like, look out if you ever get rocked in that game. But in this game, it's much less harsh when you get killed. As you don't even get killed, I think you just get like bounced into the neighboring ocean. Oh, one more thing I should mention, as long as we're talking about reasons why I think this is better than Merchants and Marauders, is because notoriously, if you've played Merchants and Marauders, one of the worst parts about, oh, bye Iridel, thanks for joining us briefly. One of the worst things that goes on in that game is that there's this port action, and in the port action you can do a bunch of stuff. You can gather rumors about cool treasure or artifacts. You can hire and fire a crew. You can improve your ship. You can repair your ship. There's this whole laundry list of things that you can do. And so when somebody in that game goes to port, which is very often, says, I'm taking a port action, everybody else is like, oh my god, time to go like weed the garden for an hour, because the port action, there's so many things you can do and it takes so long and it sucks and the downtime is awful. Sea of Legends, however, takes all the same port actions that you can do in Merchants and Marauders and splits them up across ports. So Havana is the only place where you can beer. I forget what beer is. It might be hire crew. I don't know. It's been a little while, like I say, it's been a little while since I've played Sea of Legends. Let me open the whole thing up. And then if you want to, I think this is buried treasure, you go to San Juan. If you want to, I guess that's hire people, I can't remember, you go to Thieves Landing. So it's all split, and so you can only do one thing on that whole list of port actions. All the same stuff is in there as in Merchants and Marauders. It's just, it's not going to take forever. So turns are real zippy, real quick, and real fun, and it's just a fun, like, dice chucking, zippy, fun, fast, good time. Love it, love it, love it. So that's the base game. If you do not own the base game and you're already interested in it, because I'm a good salesperson, you want to go. When people finish Kickstarter campaigns, publishers tend to have, not in all cases, but in this case, certainly, overstock. So they printed too many copies, or they decided to do a couple more on their print run, so that when the news gets out that people are receiving this exciting stuff at home, other people can go, oh, me too, I missed out, and they can buy other copies. So you go to miniaturemarket.com. I put the, hi cardboard, cult of cardboard. Are you one who prefers a good screen printed wood meeple or plastic minis? Oh, you know what? That's a great question. Depends on the game. So many things look so nice. Minis look great, especially if you paint them, but who's got the time? Certainly not this guy. Wooden meeples look fantastic. Screen printed meeples look great as long as the art is okay, because I've seen some dorky art, and if you go get stickers from people on like Etsy or stuff, or certain games have stickers, I find that that's all down to the art. If it's just like I don't know, meeples aren't shaped like real people, so that when you actually try to draw like a real person on a sticker and put it on a meeple, it's like what's wrong with you? You got gargantuism or something. They they look a little, their faces are all stretched, looks a little bit weird. So the screening is down to the artwork. The more realistic it tries to be, I think the worse it fails. But you know what I also really like is acrylic standees. I think look really good. Cardboard standees are junk. I don't like them at all. But the acrylic ones look gorgeous. So it's like a nice clear piece of acrylic, and then they like full color screen on top of that. I think that looks great. I'd love to see more of that if the game can't afford to do minis. You know, minis, you got to hire the sculptor, and it's a whole deal. Anyway, I was going to say Miniature Market is taking pre-orders for Sea of Legends base game. They also have the 2 expansions. And the reason why we're here today is what arrived at my house are the 2 expansions. The first expansion was already available for quite a while now, but I didn't own it because I didn't do, I'm going to move my table back so it's not bouncing against my camera. There we go. I didn't own it, and the second expansion is the one that just came out. That's Vengeance of the Empires, and I've got both in a box down here, and I'm so excited. When I started thinking about what's in those boxes, I just started getting excited again. Whoa. Okay, first we'll open this box. Any guesses? Any guesses what's in here? I'm sure you can figure it out. And then we'll have a discussion about whether you think what's in here is interesting or not interesting. Cool. Oh, Penny drops this. Yeah, it's Victoria Day. Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm streaming like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday, it's because I'm a Canuck. And you're like, Ryan, I thought you made an honest man of yourself and you have a full-time job now. I do, but it is Victoria Day in Canada when we celebrate, I don't know, who knows, it's been a couple hundred years. Queen Victoria's birth, death, probably birth. Are we really that into Queen Victoria? No, I mean, I'm not. I'm sure she was great. If it means I get a holiday in May, then long live the Queen. Great. Over here. So, of course, this is a neoprene mat of that beautiful board I just showed you. Let's crack that open. And I think it's larger. I won't go grab the other one to compare, but it looks like somebody's already ripped this one. Oh. All right. So an ad is starting in 26 seconds. So I'll try to come up with something interesting to tell you for people who are subscribed to the channel and for people who are watching on YouTube. And then we'll unfurl this. I won't touch this until the ad's done. Don't worry. Starting in 12 seconds. Let me think of a story. You know what? I can show you something that I'm working on while we do this. Talking about acrylic standees. So while the ad runs, I'll do that. Ad's starting soon. Wow. For those of you who want to watch this later on YouTube, there's a little sneak preview of what I'm working on. I'll show you those in just a sec. Ad's starting soon. Start the ad already. Let's go. I'm not following on chat. I don't know what a bong. Oh, you guys are guessing what's in the tall box. Come on, ad, let's go. Well, I got a game recently called Imperium Horizons, and it's the second sequel or second collection of additional. It's a card game where you're fighting civilizations against each other, and I think this is total junk. If we're talking about things that publishers do that's naughty, I was shocked when I went over to my friend's Doc's house and he was showing me Marvel something. It was the Marvel. I'm not into Marvel card games, but it was the Marvel card game, and he showed me the box, and all you get are cards, and you don't get any dividers. So you can play Spider-Man. He's got a bunch of cards. You can play, I don't know, other heroes, and they've got big piles of cards, and there's nothing like in the box where you can like easily flip through and find them. And I was like, well, that's trash. So I thought I will never get caught up in that, and then I go buy this game Imperium Horizons, and it's got the same stupid thing going on. So somebody on Board Game Geek said, here's what I did with mine. I went and got them printed on vinyl, printable vinyl. So this is printable vinyl. It's glossy, if you can't tell, there's the shininess there, and they're sticky back, so you can peel the back off. And then he went, and it's off camera, I'm not gonna be able to reach it, but he got like acrylic sheets, like 1 millimeter thick acrylic sheets, and he's gonna mount, well, he mounted these things to the acrylic sheets. So I just gotta cut out my acrylic sheets and stick these to them, and then I have really beautiful dividers for all the different, you know, all the different factions in the game. I got the base games as well. Imperium Classics and Imperium something. I don't know. If we had the cover thing working, I could show you the covers of them. But that's a game by Turchi and Buckle, who are the two fellas. Turchi, by the way, should come as no surprise to you, is a punk. But Turchi and Buckle designed Voidfall, which I quite like for Mind Clash games. So this is another one that they teamed up on and co-designed. So I'm very interested in playing it. The ad break has ended. We're back. Let's go. Marvel something, then an ad. Is that how it went down? After these messages, we'll be right back. Ding. Great. Look at this. Oh, if you like neoprene, and I'm warming to it. I don't have many games that use neoprene. The biggest problem with neoprene, in my estimation, this is definitely, by the way, bigger than the board I just showed you. Biggest problem with neoprene, in my estimation, is storing it, right? Like, what do? I've seen people, they buy wine racks and they stick the rolled up neoprene on their wine racks. That's something. But like, oh, look how pretty. Looks quite nice, right? I love it. No changes. It's all the same stuff. Skull points up here. Smuggler's Cove is over there. Oh, it's so piratey. And an interruption from Iz. What's up, Iz?
Hi, OBS is open on my computer. Can I close it?
Yeah, you can close it.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know why it opened.
I opened it because I was copying settings over for this very stream.
Okay.
Bye, Iz. Yeah, man, some stuff you export from OBS and it doesn't come to the new computer, and then you realize about 10 minutes before you're streaming that you have no indicator of when ads are coming. So obviously I got that working before I did this. All right, shut up and play the new stuff. Here we go. Oh man, so what do you get? Like who, that sounds great, right? You get 4 captains and you get like, what is it, 3-4 factions in the base game, and why wouldn't you just be happy with that? Well, because they're very smart the way that they designed this game to like mixy-matchy everything. So like I said, you always play with the Spanish Armada, and then you get to pick, I think, 2 other factions on top of the Spanish Armada to play with each game. So wouldn't it make game sessions more varied and interesting if you could pick from more factions and cool factions and kick-ass factions? It would, wouldn't it? Well, here we go. Oh man, I'm so excited. Yeah, pretty matte, Omar. Do you use mattes, Omar? Do you buy them? I have a couple. I've got one for Dead Reckoning, which is another excellent pirate game, and I have one for, gee whiz, they just sent me one for Feudum, and Feudum, by the way, if you're interested in that game, has its septennial crowdfunding campaign on GameFound, I believe. You know, check that out. Oh my gosh, there's so much things in this box. Let's take a look. They got two big old expansion things, and I don't know what all this crazy stuff is, but let's get the big boys out first. So first, the expansion that was already available that I did not own a copy of, but I'm thrilled to now, is called Sea of Legends: Rise of the Ancients. We'll get into that. I'll tell you who these 4 people are in a moment, and then, oh, this is the new one. The one that just arrived for everybody in their houses. This is Sea of Vengeance of the Empires. And again, I'll tell you what these 4 people are up to in a moment. Yeah, also, what else is in here? Look at the joys therein. Oh my gosh. Omar says, yeah, I've got 15 or more mats. How do you store them, Omar? In various sizes. That's the other problem. Sure, go get a wine rack, but if they're not all the same size as a bottle of wine, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Woohoo! Yeehaw! All right, let's sort through the remainders. What we got? Okay, so we got a captain's pack. That's very exciting. I'll tell you about that in a second. We've got Legendary rewards pack, I don't know what that is. Metal coins, I know what that is. We got DJs and we got metal notoriety. So this is another one where all the tokens are cardboard and you can upgrade them. So let's get into it and see what the quality is like for these suckers. So notoriety is like your fame points. That's how you decide who's going to win the game. I believe you play to 10 notoriety, and since it's a sandbox game, you can earn notoriety doing all kinds of different things. You can go on quests, or you can beat up bosses. There's a whole list of conditions that get you notoriety points. And so for something that you want in the game, I just played a game called Revive. Do you know that game, Revive? And it was cool. I really liked the game. But one place where I thought they kind of screwed up was the things that you're trying to get, these artifacts, are the ugliest artwork I've ever seen in the board game. They're these weird dog wolf skull head faces with 6 or 8 eyes, and 2 of them are closed, and they're the ugliest, craziest things you ever want to see. And those are what you're trying to collect in the game to win the game. I'm like, ugh, fiery artist. Over here though, oh look, it's a cloth bag, everybody. Ooh, pretty. Of course, not included in the game. This is going to be an extra purchase. Are they available? I don't know. You're going to have to check out Miniature Market and find out. I feel a bit of plastic. All right. Ooh. I do have one criticism about these. I'll save them. Oh, I ripped a whole hole in the side of that bag when I could have just, it's Ziploc. Okay, whatever. But look very nice. They've got a slight sheen to them, like they're partially shellacked. So these are what you want, and that's how you win the game. And who wouldn't want metal versions of those? They look lovely. Can I do the thing where you palm it and flip it? And no, I can't. Not good at magic tricks at all. Let's take a look at the metal coins. Now you'll see, hopefully you'll see when I open these what my design criticism is here. Does Sea of Legends comes with its own shelf system to hold all this stuff? It's bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's bad. It's not as bad as some games, man. When people got that Horizons game based on the video game, and it came in like 800 different boxes, I was just like, what? How? My gosh, I was counting up the square footage and thinking of the square footage of my entire place. Anyway, here are the metal coins. Hopefully they come in as lovely. Oh yes, they do. Look, this is a very nice presentation. I like this. I like this very much. I mean, it ain't got nothing on Apple, but it is nice to open. Okay. Okay, so here are the coins. Oh, you know what? My design criticism is possibly mitigated, although I see another issue. It's not the worst, but I would say, I would worry that since they're the exact same size, it might be difficult to tell the sizes between, or sorry, the values between your 2 different coins. But no, that's reading pretty okay, right? Silver is a 1 and gold is a 5. That's not too bad. My original criticism was like, okay, so the money has a skull in the middle of it, the fame token has a skull in the middle of it, and I think the cardboard designs, they're pretty close to each other. I might be wrong. When we get into the box, we'll see. But that's not too bad at all. I have no complaints there. And metal coins, man. You can do worse than metal coins in a pirate game. Oh my god. Dropping them everywhere. I just lost 5 of these. Fine. Nice, right? Are we excited? On the video, they're pretty close to the same shade. Yeah, they're not tremendously differentiated. Let me bring them up a bit closer to your faces. What's nice though is that the 5er says 5 pretty obviously all around there in 4 different places, where the 1er, I couldn't even see if it said 1, but there are little sticks that represent 1s here, 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 and here. So it's not terrible. It's not terrible. There have been worse examples. Cool. Let's get rid of them. All these, get rid of these. Very nice, very nice. How much did that cost? I have no idea. You look it up and decide if it's worth it to you. Do you guys like metal coins? I do. I do. Like me, yes. So that's one of the things that I will buy for games all the time because I'm a big sucker for it. And then like smarter people buy, like I know Onlet's got a set of iron clays, like those heavy poker chips, and just brings them out for all kinds of games. And that's fine, but like, are you gonna play a pirate game with poker chips? That's not quite right. I did buy metal coins for merchants and marauders. So the smart thing to do is to have big bins. And you just got like a big bin of like metal coins for all your pirate games, and then a big bin of metal coins for all your, you know, modern, I don't know, I can't even name Acquire. Does that use metal? I don't know. But you know what I mean. Monopoly, I don't know. And then you just drag them out. So it doesn't make sense to have metal coins per game is what I'm saying. I'm interested in what this is though. I don't think I know what's in this third box. We're all gonna find out together. Cardboard is for hobos. Yeah, that's exactly it. The only reason you would play, I think, with cardboard coins in a board game is if the metal ones are not available or you are poor. And we don't support that at all, do we? Right. These are just the same as the dice in the base game, but they just give you more of them. So these should be the exact same dice. They got different symbols on them. When you roll dice in Sea of Legends, you got a couple ones on there, and then you can upgrade. There are better ones that have twos on them. So this one has one of the twos. And then sometimes the neat thing about Sea of Legends is you take, at the beginning, you select a character to be your lover, your potential lover, and your rival. So you've got like a nemesis, and you've got like boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And what's cool is when you roll, in certain circumstances, when you roll this dagger, your rival has different abilities that scale up. Like one of the bad things that can happen in the game is your rival gets better. So not only are you powering up, but that jerk you've been fighting with since childhood is also getting better. And when you roll these daggers, they can activate the abilities on the jerks cards. But what's cool is that there's a path in the game that you can take to defeat your rival once and for all, which is pretty cool. Your lover, on the other hand, there's a rose, and your lover is also leveling up and getting better. And so when you roll a rose, you can activate your lover's ability. And the stronger your lover gets, the more that they can help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. Cool. Cool mechanic. Love it. And of course, the cards that represent the lovers and the rivals are all the same cards, right? And it's just the context that you pick. You get 3 and you pick 2 out of the 3 that you get. I'm going to take a quick little thirst break. It's a thirst trap, everybody. I wish I had. Is that going to work? No, it's not. Oh my God. Well, we certainly heard it. It's our water promo. If you tried this stuff, it's great. I know, audio but no video. I didn't see it either. I have one set of metal coins, says DJ Mark V, that I use for all games. Yeah, that's the smart play. Really, I'm not a smart guy. I don't know what this is at all, because it's been so long. But let's find out what's in the Legendary Rewards Pack. Maybe it's something exciting. I would hope so with a name like that. You're not going to call something legendary and it's like, Lord Identical Dice. Okay. I feel like I'm opening treasures by the second here. Ooh, okay. What do we got? We've got big old fancy boat, Leviathan. You can upgrade your ship in this game just as you can in Merchants and Marauders. And better ships get you better speed, more cannons. So we've got cooler boats, and they're all, or these two are same stats, 4, 3, 5, but they have different artwork on them. So class 3 boats. We've got a couple of more character cards. These are crew that you can hire to crew your boat, and they've got different abilities and cool artwork. I really like the artwork is gorgioso in this game. I should have looked up the artist's name before the stream, but man, they're doing the Lord's work. Really nice stuff. So you get extra characters, extra boats, and these are the lover and rival cards that I was telling you about. Come now. I'm going to have to unbox this box a bit further. Ugh, there we go. So, extra characters that you get are this guy. You can see here the kinds of things that the characters do if I bring it closer to the camera. So, on the lover side, right, they're double-sided, right? There's the lover side, there's the evil red rival side. So, if you take this guy as a lover, you can, for every rose die that's assigned in a roll, you get 2 gold. Unleash the hounds. Gain 3 bonus dice against followers. Followers are like the grunts. I remember I said there's a boss and grunts in each enemy faction. Good boys. For every 2 roses assigned, gain 1 strength and refresh 2 crew. And then true love. So just like there's a storyline that you can follow to defeat your rival, there's a whole path you can follow to attain true love with whoever you've chosen as your lover. So true love, gain 1 glory point while unlocked. Love it. As long as you're still in true love, because you can fall out of true love. Don't ask me how that works. Great. This one doesn't use card crafting. No, this isn't one where I think you're thinking of Dead Reckoning, where they've got envelopes and you stick. That's the card crafting system where you stick different cards in the envelope and sweeten them up. That's the other pirate game that came out the exact same time as the second expansion of this one came out. Also a very good game. It's definitely my number 2 pirate game, but this one edges it out just a tiny bit because it's a bit breezier. It's a bit heavier on the fun, I think, than Dead Reckoning, where Dead Reckoning is more Euro-y. The artist is Brittany Bebo. No, Bebo's not the artist. I think she's the art director. No, she was a writer originally. I don't think that she's an artist. I don't know if these are, I think, writers, are they not? You sure you got the right list there, DJ Mach-V? Because I know one of the things that about the original campaign was they went and got a bunch of folks to write missions and stories for them, and I don't know if any of those missions or stories have survived to the current version of the app. But yeah, that huge list of artists, they're consistent enough that it's going to be one person, I think 1 or 2 people drawing all the character art. It's not that gigantic pile of people. Yeah, that's the BGG list. I don't think it's accurate. Also, the BGG entry is... Did you notice that like the cover of the box is just like some crummy iPhone photo of the box? Like, I don't know. I don't think that the BGG entry is put together quite properly. Dead Reckoning is also a Bezier. You think so? Dead Reckoning has a beautiful azure blue board. Now, speaking of artists, this is super unnecessary. You only get this if you have more money than sense, or you begged the Guildhall Studios to send it to you. And I begged, and they did, and I'm very happy because this is a famous fantasy artist named. Now, maybe you can find this guy's name for me too, or maybe it's on a card inside. Bob, I think his name is Bob or Robert, and he draws fantasy art, and they had him take all of the captains. So these 4 people on the cover are the new captains you get. So brand new captains for this one, brand new captains for Rise of the Ancients, and so that's 12 total captains. So what this dude did was reimagine all the captains. So you don't get new cards, I don't believe, for the captains. You're playing with all your original captains cards. He's just redone the art and the sculpts for them. And he's got a unique take on them. It kind of brings a different style to the game, for sure. You saw that captain I brought out, that Ton captain, who looked like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So this dude's art is a lot more, well, let's see. So we've got these are just tokens that you put on the board to figure out where your next goal is for your quests and for doing things in the game. And here they are. Oh my gosh. Look how beautiful this is. By God, he's a pirate, says Zoctal. Not really. I don't mean to alarm you. I'm not a real pirate. All right. Let's get into it. So, 12. I thought it was 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 8. My bad. It's only 8 captains. But they're beautiful. And the one that I was super excited about is this dude. Look at this dude. I was like, finally, someone with my body type is represented in a board game. I'm like, look at this absolute unit. Ooh, he's got some glutes too. He did not skip leg day. He's got a bit more going on there than I do. But yeah, that's cool. He's got, all of them have like an animal, I think, and this is awesome. He's got like a little dodo on his head. So cool. That guy's awesome. What? And I just dropped him. So I'm playing as him always. And then there's a bunch of sexy ladies. So if you like sexy piracy fantasy ladies, They are well represented in this set. I think there's only 2 dudes and the rest are ladies. So no, this guy's a dude. He's looking cool. He's boss. He's got like a spyglass, and his bird is a something. He's got some kind of bird on there. And then they got a variety of like. Does she have an animal? No, she doesn't. She just has 2 really scary katanas and flowing hair, and she's gonna cut you up. They're cool. They're really, really good. And if you want to see the artwork that the sculpts are based on, let me bust that out. Only a real pirate say he's not a pirate. Yeah, you're catching on. By the way, if you tried to join this stream and you saw a promo card that said it starts in 2023, you succeeded. You saw through my puzzly pirate ruse and you figured out the correct date and you got here. And now this is the treasure that you've earned. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. So look at this sexy pirate lady with the double swords and the flowing hair. Sexy pirate guy. Oh, look, so it's a, what do you call that? Like a falcon that he's got as his animal. She's got an owl. Oh, I want to see her. Is that her? Yes. She's got a cool, I'm going to have to bring that really close. She's got a cool owl on her shoulder. Cool if you're a pirate. Oh, look at that skull on that bag. Like, these are going to be very cool to paint in my fantasies. She's just sexy and an alcoholic, I guess, is her deal. But if you're into painting, like, try getting that tattoo on her arm. That's going to be a task. Again, another sexy lady named Odessa who is apparently some sort of witch. So again, there's some fantasy involved. Pickwick is the guy I like. He's got a dodo on his head. And again, if you want to paint some tattoos, you fill your boots. And he's got this big, cool shark teeth tattoo on his big old belly. Love that guy. He's great. And then she has monkeys. Oh, there they are. Wow, that's delicate. I'm going to try to very gingerly get that out of there. Grab him by the tail. So she's got little monkeys all over the cannon that she's sitting on. Very nice stuff. Love it. Bob, what is the artist name? Did we get there? Owl? Yeah, cool. Why not? Aquatic owls? Why not? Come on. Hey, shut up. It's valid. Wait, so, well, hold on. We got mer people running around, and you're like, wait a second, hold on. Stop the presses. This chick's got an owl? Is this game even realistic? No, it isn't. Relax. She's got an owl. Deal with it. Okay, all right. And they also, like, none of them look horribly diseased, which is another unrealistic. So I'm sure pirates had their fair share of. Of course, I'm a big fan of, huge fan of The Secret of Monkey Island, and that was the joke in the second one, the code wheel that you spin in order to get codes to do a copy protection thing so that you can prove that you owned it, is just a list of pirate diseases. That's scurvy and rickets and gout. Great. This is the new one, but I'm edging you guys. I'm gonna go with this one. This is the one that I didn't have, that's already out, that other people have, but we just want to dive in and see what's included in the box, because I promise you there is something new in here that if you haven't been following the saga, you might not be aware of, but I'm very excited to see it, and I'll explain it all to you once I get in there. No scurvy, immersion broke. Yeah, I'm not buying this at all. You mean to tell me 0 of them have scurvy? What is this noise? All right, here we go. Box photometer is 0. Let's see if it works. No, it's not going to work. I tapped the button. It's like everything's hidden on that layer or something. Let me just, you know what? I'm just gonna look real quick and see if that whole layer is hidden. It's not, I don't know. I'll troubleshoot it later. I did do a lot of troubleshooting before I went live, I promise. Great, so these are the bosses of the 4 new factions that you get in the first expansion. They are Quetzalcoatl, the big, feathered serpent. There's this big, cool water bear. There's a big, scary, like, monkey, like Mayan monkey. And then this is just like Satan. They just put like demons in the game because why not? Pirates fighting demons? Sure, that sounds cool. Like I said, some of them have to collect things around the board. So I think these are eggs that one of them is collecting. So now here, okay. I hope that Guildhall isn't watching this because they'll come on here and contradict me. I had a wicked cool idea and they went with it, and they can and should deny up and down that it was my idea. I don't care. I don't need credit because I was very, very excited about this idea. In the second expansion, there is a ghost faction. And so I said on their Discord server, oh my God, what you guys have to do, and I was a bit pushy about it, I gotta be honest, what you have to do, you have to make them out of translucent green plastic, right, resin. You have to do, I was like so excited about it. And but then the problem is that in the first expansion, they have the water bear, so they have this water sprite faction, and it's like, oh man, if you're gonna do the ghosts in green, then really you should do those ones in translucent blue. But then people already have that first expansion, so they already have the water bear and his grunts in normal gray, and that's how's that not gonna work? And man, like they pulled out all the stops to make this happen. Not only did they do the ghost faction in translucent green in the new expansion, but they retroactively went back and made the water bear faction in translucent blue, so that if you were a backer who already had this, you could upgrade and get these in translucent blue. I believe that's how they handled it. But whatever they did it the way that was best for the game, because oh my goodness gracious, how excited am I about these things. Oh, they all came out. No longer excited, into the trash. No, look, oh man. So the grunts in the water bear faction are foxes. They're like foxes made of water. Look how, oh my gosh, I'm gonna determine to break them. Look how badass that looks, you guys. You don't even need to paint that. That looks so good. Oh, that looks so cool. Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm so excited. That looks so good. Oh man, so good. That's cool. That's cool. And the rest of them I don't care about. No, just kidding. The big monkey has these screeching monkeys. I think they're trying to get an idol as they roam around the board, and you're trying to beat them up and prevent them from doing it. I think, I don't know, my memory's a little bit hazy on what the monkeys do, but it's cool anyway. And then these are the four captains right in the middle. They are dude with two big scary gun swords. Are those gun swords? I don't know. It looks scary. And then you've got lady with a big old bazooka on her shoulder. Why not? Yeah, we're having fun here. And then you've got this dude who looks like the ghost pirate LeChuck from The Secret of Monkey Island. He has an iguana as his familiar, the pet on his shoulder, and he looks wicked. And then you got this lady who's just got a big old sword on her back. And does she have any animals? I don't know, but she's got a really big, cool plume in her hat and looks amazing. They all look amazing. The sculpts are great. I'm so excited. This is like, these are, right, so these are like acolytes. So they went kind of like Cthulhu mythos with this one. So here's like a limp-wristed acolyte who's trying to summon the bad guy. Oh, look, and he's like levitating. He's floating off the ground with this mysterious magical plumes. And then in the Quetzalcoatl faction, you've got these, is Quetzalcoatl Aztec or Mayan? Anyway, Central American, what are they called? Jaguar statues come to life with big old swords ready to slice you in the face. Great. They look cool, and they're all blocky. I really like the design of these guys. And these look really cool when you paint them up like all geometric style. So nice. And then after the ad, we'll get into the bosses, or I'll see if I can sneak in a boss. So more cardboard to punch, more tokens to put on there. Here we go. Here come the big guys. Don't worry, if the ad starts, I will pause. But like, oh, look at the blue resin water bear. Oh man, so cool. So this is like, I think she is either summoning or turning into the big water bear. I think that's how that works. So if you wanted to paint it, you could put some details on her, or you could just leave her made out of water, because this looks wicked. Maybe you want to put some white on there to indicate, like, you know, frothy peaks or whatever. But if you're not a painter, you'd be pretty excited because that looks amazing as is. Ad starting soon. Well, why don't you just start the ad? Hard to tell on Steam or stream. Are you excited about these? Man, I was so, you don't understand how jacked I was about this game. I was just like, it's all I could talk about. Now, I will say, they had some issues with the app and have had ongoing issues for years now with the app, and doing new versions of it that didn't quite work. And they're not a tech company, so they're sourcing the app out to someone else, which is always fraught with problems. So I haven't checked the app lately, but it's the kind of thing where I thought to myself, I like the app so much, and I can do video gamey things. I would even write my own stories and program my own app to enjoy this game. If that's people's complaints. They're like, oh, it's app supported, so you won't be able to play it in the future when there's no electricity. I'm thinking, like, you're gonna have bigger problems if there's no electricity than being able to play a board game. But I don't know, it's nice to know that I have the ability to make my own stuff. Ad starting in 1 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you got 5 factions, right? That's why. The one that's missing. I'll tell you about the one that's missing and what the eggs are for. Ad break. Okay. Ad break ends in 1 minute. Hold on. I'm just dying to touch what's in that box and show everybody. Oh my gosh. App supported 0 stars, exactly. Yeah, if you go on, well, you can't give 0 stars on Board Game Geek. We'll only give 1 star, I think, is your lowest, right? So it's like, you'll get like games that have like, a bunch of 1-star reviews and then like a bunch of 10 stars of people trying to pull it way the heck back up. But there are certain people, you can click on them on Board Game Geek, and like any app supported thing to be like 1 app supported. 1 star, app supported, like game after game after game. Games that this person hasn't even played. They're just like, yeah, app supported, 1 star. Like, come on, man, don't wreck it for the rest of us. Some of us like other things. Just so mad. Yeah, app supported 10 stars. Exactly. Big swing. Add over in 10 seconds. Let's go dark. Let's go half dark. In case this wasn't very good, I've got my backup. Got my backup. Oh, the app's over. Okay, stop goofing off. We'll switch eye patches in a second. Wait, so 5 factions. There's only 4 on the cover because that's what the layout supported. But here are the other ones. Here's the big monkey. Looks really cool. We know he's a monkey and not an ape because he's got a tasty looking bum and the big old tail. Cool. Just cool. And he's got like, ornamented punch gauntlets and this cool gold helmet. If you paint him up, he's gonna look great. Looks really cool. And this is the demon. I forget what the demon's name is, but he's not nice. Very scary. Adds a bit of horror to your game. If you want him, again, you get to pick the factions that you're going to play against. So if you don't want to play against demons, just throw these in the trash or send them to my house. And then this is Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent of Central American myth and legend. I don't know what he does. I don't know if he's a bad guy in the myths or the legends because I haven't read any of them. But if you know, please let me know. And look, this is cool. They've got him encircling a ziggurat on the bottom here, which kind of gives you an idea of like the scale of this serpent. Holy cow. He's a big boy. Really nice sculpt. Like I said, I wasn't the game that got me into. I said that this was the game that got me into minis. It wasn't. Monumental was the game that got me into minis. It was another one that when I was working with Rado, and I will again mark my words, if you'll have me. When I was working with Rado, that was one of the things that he didn't want to play because he doesn't like direct conflict do it on a map games, and that's what Monumental was. So I got that game, and they had a bunch of really cool sculpts in it. But my problem with Monumental was none of the sculpts were, or a large portion of the sculpts weren't functional. So you had a really cool like Einstein sculpt. You're like, cool, what does Albert Einstein do in a dudes on a map fighting game? Like, does he get to go in and like brain power them all to death? You get a cool Nikola Tesla sculpt. You're like, do I get to go on the battlefield and like shoot lightning from my orbs, whatever he does? Right? No, you get Einstein and you get to put him next to a stack of cards and flip over an extra card. And that, so it was pretty weak, and it kind of reminds me of Wonderland's War, which has the same thing. It's got a big pile of sculpts, I guess kind of like as an excuse to just get all the characters in and a big pile of sculpts. But they don't, like a lot of them don't do anything interesting. These guys all do something cool and interesting. This is the Harpy God, or the Harpy boss. She's clinging to like a big chunk of wrecked ship. And so she's the one who is running around trying to collect all these eggs. And when she gets all her eggs, forget about it. And like the acolytes will be going around trying to do some stuff. And when they do some stuff 5 times or whatever it is, then they summon the big demon. right? You get a big pile of new lover and rival cards that you can choose from. You get, and then these are all the faction cards. So every faction isn't just what am I trying to say? Isn't just the minis. They also all have a deck, and all the decks for all of the factions have objects and things in them. These are the captains that you get, the new captains. And no, sorry, these aren't the new captains. These are for the Quetzalcoatl faction, right? Some object cards. The new captains are right here. So, no, these are not. These are crew. These are new crew. So you get new crew. You get the Quetzalcoatl cards. You get the, who else is in here? Right, these are the cards that you follow to make the Aztecs do what they're going to do, right? So this tells you the rules of how they spawn on the board and how they travel around and what they're kind of aiming for. And then these are the demon cards with new characters and new objects that you can get as you go questing when they're on the board. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Sometimes you can, there's one mechanism where you can make friends with the factions if you follow the right path, and then it depends on the faction, but then sometimes they don't hurt you, or they give you different perks and benefits. It's cool, man. That's cool. That's so cool. So that's the second expansion. That's the one that people already have. Now, I love the Mythbuster episode about the pirate eye patch. What I didn't see it. What were they saying about the eye patch? It doesn't really protect your eye. No, or they didn't have eye patches. What was it? Or when you shoot an eye patch with a bazooka, it doesn't really explode like they showed in the movies. I don't know. Mythbusters. DJ Mark V got no ad. That's because DJ Mark V, I believe you're a subscriber, right? Subscribers don't get ads. How does that all go together? I don't know. Just push it off to the side. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, maybe, I don't know, or maybe you're just checking this out because you're interested. This is the new stuff. I just sliced the box because I suck. It's been a while, I'm out of practice. Instant devaluing of the board game. Now it's worth nothing. These are the new pirates we're gonna see in the game. One way I talked about this game when I was originally covering it is queer as heck, because of course you can take a same-sex lover if you want to, and it is also diverse as heck, so all kinds of creeds and colors are represented in the game. So yeah, it's a very diverse and inclusive kind of game, refreshingly so. I thought it was kind of neat. Great. These are the faction guides for all of the bad guys, including Rise of the Ancients, because sometimes the cards are a little confusing. So these are, I think, rewritten to be more clear, right? Because there are, I think, some issues in the first expansion about that. A revised rule book for the base game. Again, there were some goofs, some rules goofs, and some spelling mistakes and some iconography issues in the first rulebook. So get an updated rulebook, very good. And then a faction guide for the new one. Oh no, those are the original ones. So all three are in there. You get faction guides for all three games in this one. A lot of candy-colored tokens and stuff that the new factions are going to use to travel around the board. This is a card for the Tarrasque, which is a French, here we go. The Tarrasque is a French mythological floating dragon island that is one of the factions. So like now you can play against the French, and you couldn't before. I think that's what's new here. So you can always play against the Spanish, the British, and in here I think it's the Dutch and the French, because the Dutch is going to have the spooky ghost faction. I think that's how it goes. If I got it wrong, let me know. Doomed sailor tokens. Cool. So the Tarrasque, there's going to be a figure in here for the Tarrasque as well, but this shows you as the Tarrasque levels up, it just gets like more and more and more powerful and harder to defeat, but it also acts like as a new port that you can go to. And like I said, all the ports have different functions on them, and this has all of them on there, right? So I think if you make friends with the French, you're able to land on the Tarrasque and do port actions. And as promised, as mentioned, the Ghost faction has green translucent dudes who look awesome. They look cool. Yeah, very cool. They look badass. Who wouldn't want those guys? These are going to be some of the new captains that are coming out. This individual has a pickaxe for a weapon, and cool dreads and a big wide-brimmed hat, and lots of buckles that are swashed. I don't know if that's how that works. And this one has... She's a lady with billowy pantaloons and a gun. Look out. This one is a lady with a big bouffant 17th century hairdo. Getting some dinner, says DJ Mach-P. Oh, thank you for joining us briefly. I mean, not briefly, you've been here for an hour. And then this one is the dude who has... Dude, lady, it's hard to tell with the sculpt, but a lot of hair going on. Big hair situation, a big billowy coat, and a big scimitar. So maybe a Far East patterned character. Cool. You get a couple of extra ships. I think these are probably the same sculpts as in the base game. These look very familiar. Great. And some places to put your tokens, some new colored bases. So if you want to be, ooh, Mummy, could I please play the avocado green faction? Yes, dear. Don't fight with your sister. New lover and fighter cards. Or rival cards, sorry. Nope, that's why. Let's take a quick boo through these. It's like trying to take off my tighty whities. There we go. I don't wear tighty whities. Settle down. Great. Dara Graciana Chiaradin. Oh, these are the captain cards. So Chiaradin's the dude with the big plume and the scimitar, and Parley is the cool dude with the dreads. And then Kira, the rogue fiddler, obviously from the Ghost faction. Lander, the Dice Master. Sanel, the Iron Maiden. These are cool. And then the Frenchies. We got Celeste and Dumas and Margot. And then, looks like there's a Viking faction. Heimdall and Jamila, the Scavenge Queen. Nissa, the Ironclad. They're just cool. I mean, look at this. Oria, the Tentacle Tamer. Look, so cool. And then these are the quick, like the cheat cards for how the factions move around. Awesome. I approve. And then over here, qu'est-ce que c'est? That's French for WTF. Here we go. The update kit. This pack of cards is part of the Sea of Legends update kit. They are updates and corrections for original printing of the Sea of Legends and Rise of the Ancients expansions. If you have the second printing of those boxes, these cards are duplicates and unneeded. Good to know. So they've sent out correction cards because there were a couple of iconography errors. I feel bad that I've unleashed these cards because I might need to go through and pick out the right ones to replace the ones in the base game. So we'll keep them in a together pile. And now it's boss time. Hoo boy. Oh, who's as excited as I am? Probably no one. Yeah, there's no finger holds in here, so that's... Prepare to wreck your box. I don't know, I'm supposed to grab it by this? I don't know, whatever. The whole thing comes out. Great. Who have we got? This really doesn't want to come out. Oh, right, I'm remembering now. I'm remembering what's in here, and it's very cool. First of all, we'll grab the very obvious one, the cool Dutch ghost ship with slime coming off the back. Looks awesome. Oh, cool! It's got like I forget what you call the thing, the sculpture that's hanging down at the front, but it's a big like skeletal, creepy. This is like, come on, like if you played Monkey Island, this is straight out of Monkey, which took it from somewhere else too. But this is the Ghost Pirate LeChuck's ship for sure. You also, the Spaniards never had a faction leader, so this is their big boss, and she's a queen who is just sitting at the top of this throne looking all cool with her fan. So she looks awesome, and she's going to be fun to paint too. Skulls at her feet. Don't mess around with that lady. She's girl bossing it up. And then over here, this is, oh yeah, so this is cool. The last time I checked, they were still, this is neat. So this is like the Captain Ahab style faction where this dude is going after the white whale. So what they had was like not a contest, but while the campaign was going, they had people presenting, bidding on, and voting on different factions. There was one I really liked, but they didn't end up going with it. They went with this one. This is the more popular choice. So basically what happens is this guy is chasing the whale, who is this one who's apparently eaten an unfortunate ship and has harpoons all sticking out of him and everything. So these two are just having this like battle of titans around the board, right? He's trying to like get the whale and the whale's trying to get him. And while this is going on, it's basically like you're in Tokyo and the monsters are smashing buildings and you're like one of the people in the building. So basically if you're like, I think near these two, when they pop out of the water and start fighting, you take damage or something bad happens to you. So it's like, oh my God, they're just wrecking stuff and going all over the Caribbean, just laying waste to it. And this is cool. On the back of it, is this a rope or a worm? Anyway, it's awesome. So that's what's up with the Captain Ahab style faction. I can't remember if it's called Captain Ahab or what, but I'm going to gingerly put this in here so I don't break any of those harpoons. Nope. The myth was that pirates don't wear eye patches. This is the Mythbusters thing. Don't wear eye patches because of missing eyes, but to help with moving between on deck where it's bright and below deck where it's dark. Covering an eye keeps it ready for below deck, and when you switch the eye patch over and over, you can see better in the dark. Before I even see what the Mythbusters say, that sounds like cap. That sounds like total bunk. The Mythbusters tested it, and it did provide significant advantage to not doing it. Really? I don't know, man. I don't know. All I can tell you is that with this thing on, I can't do crap. Not that I'm going above and below decks or anything. These lights are very bright, but it's just a pain in the butt is all it is. Great, back to this. This one is a Kraken monster that pops out of the ocean, and then he's got, this is awesome, he's got all these little tentacles that like pop up in different spots on the map, right? So he's like, you know, blah, he goes and slaps the water and pounds you out of it, and that's awesome. That's that faction. Very cool. Very cool. Love it. Love it. And then this finally is the Tarrasque. So it's got like a weird Frenchy looking lion head on the front of it, and this big creepy tail that comes out the back, and it's like a big floating island with a castle on it. Very cool. Everything's so cool. Like, oh, how are you not excited about this as I am? Everything about this is so good. So good and so cool. What else do we get? We might as well. This is another update kit. I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to read it because I don't want them to get lost. This pack of cards is part of the Sea of Legends update kit. There are updates and corrections for the original printing of Sea of Legends and the Rise of the Ancients expansion. If you got the second, so same deal. Update kit. We appreciate that they have that in there. These are the cards for the French Empire. Might as well take a look. I'll send you the episode. Well, thank you. I haven't watched a Mythbusters episode in a very long time. Are they still in the air? I thought it was like, did Graham die? Some weird stuff happened. I see Jamie every once in a while. Hold on, I gotta get this. Digging into my forehead. Ooh, I could not be a pirate. I'm a bit soft. It'll come as a surprise to you. Great. French Empire. Every faction has a card that shows you what the strength of the grunts and the boss are as things get more dire for you as you're playing the game. Heimdall. So this is the Ahab set of faction cards. There's starfishies in there and cool swords that you can get as artifacts as you quest around. So all the quests and stuff in the game change depending on which factions you've chosen. These are your captain cards. No, they're not. Sorry, that's the card where you track the strength of the boss, in the Captain Winters faction. I guess they called the White Whale Valriada. because you'd hate to infringe on the copyright of Moby Dick, which is a few hundred years old. I don't know. Great. Valdrian Kinfolk. Right. Those are the grunt cards, I guess. These are the ones for the Kraken faction. It's the Kraken faction. Cool cards, slashes, tentacles, and then an indication of, if you want to keep it canonical, how you would want to paint that Kraken and the tentacles. Very nice. Grant Imahara died. Yes, very sad story, but it was a few years after Mythbusters stopped broadcasting. Yeah, that's what I thought. They were off the air, and then he unfortunately passed away. I forget how. We don't need to get into it. We're having fun. Tell me about how people... You ever go visit your mom? I go visit my mom, and she's a senior citizen, and hangs out at the senior center and plays bridge and does crafts with people who are much older than her, and they pass away like you do when you're old. And so it just, every time I visit, I get the Who's Dead report, which is fine. I don't mind terribly when it's older ladies who I don't really know, but I really don't like it when it's like, pull out like a newspaper clipping and go, did you know so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so? And you're like, man, they're dead. Oh my God. There's just no warning. Didn't you go to high school with died? Horrible car accident. Relax. There's an easier way to break that news. Great. The Tarask, when it gets more pissed off, becomes a big charging island of death as you go, and that's the stats for the Enraged Tarask, and then the Calm Tarask is on the other side of the card. So much cool, there's so much play, there's so much cool stuff going on in here. Let's look at the more interesting side of these cards. Great. This is the new Spanish faction that uses, I think, the ships from the first one, but it just puts a boss on top and new rules, more Ghost faction stuff. Cool hats. I don't know. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. The artwork's cool. Everything's cool. I'm so excited. So excited to, like, I don't know. I guess I gotta, like, I guess there's work ahead of me, because now I gotta paint everything. Here's the problem with painting is, when I was first getting into painting, here's what people told me. They said, you can prime with it. So there's cheap paint, Rust-Oleum paint, that you can get from up here in Canada, Canadian Tire, Home Depot, or whatever. And then there's like the nice stuff that's put out by who makes Warhammer? Those guys, Games Workshop. And they have their black and their white, and they say, don't buy the black, but definitely the Koroks white. You gotta buy the Koroks white. And I'm like reading this, like, what are they talking about? It's nerds. And they're like, oh, you gotta buy the Koroks white, because if you zenithally prime with Rust-Oleum, it's just like splotchy and dotty. And I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, I was at a board game store, and they had a cheap can of Koroks white because the can was cracked. I thought, oh, whatever. I won't spend $40 on it. I'll spend 20 though. And even that's like astronomically expensive, because Rust-Oleum costs like $7-8 a can. I go home with this can of Koroks white, and I zenithally prime every mini in my entire board game collection. Not a whole lot of minis, but I do them all in one batch. Then later, I go back to paint some more, and I realized that I'm all out of Koroks white. I used it all up on that huge, like, initial batch. And so I thought, oh, what can the harm be? I forgot the warning. I forgot the warning. It's like those people in Japan when the tsunami hit, and there were, like, writings on the rock, like, don't build below this line. And they're like, oh, they didn't heed the warning because it grew over with moss. That was me, except a lot less dire, and it's offensive for me to compare my situation to that one. Anyway, I didn't heed the warning, and I used, I think, Rust-Oleum white on some figures that I was painting, and the nerds were correct. You don't want to use Rust-Oleum for the white sort of like upper top coat thing, the simulating the light, because it is really splotchy and dotty, and it does take a whole lot more coats to make it not look splotchy and dotty, and you can tell with the naked eye that it is splotchy and dotty. So you got to get Koroks white. Here's the problem. You can't get Koroks white for love or money up here in Canada anyway. The supplier has not, I guess they had trouble during COVID, and of course that ship was stuck in the Suez Canal and everything. And now, like, you go to stores and they're all sold out of it, and you say, well, when are you getting more? And they say, I don't know, and check back with us in 6 weeks. It's like 6 weeks. This is 2024, man. If we have to wait more than 15 minutes for things we want, we're not interested anymore. Can't get it. Can't get the stuff. Thankfully, one of our wonderful backers supplied me with a whole airbrush setup. So all I have to do is turn the thing on and know how to use it. And I was going to tackle that this weekend on this lovely Victoria Day, but instead I had other things in mind. I made those dividers, I did this stream. Maybe now that I'm done, we're wrapping up here, maybe I'll go into the next room and I'll, you have a thing that you want to do. Hold on, I'll let you look at something else different for a moment. You have a thing that you want to do and you think to yourself, oh yeah, I'll do the thing. To prepare for doing the thing, I got to do this thing and this thing. And then, you know, to get those things done, you backtrack and it's like 50,000 steps. So that's what is going on with the airbrush thing. I'm like, yeah, the problem with the airbrush thing is I'm running out of table space. There's a bunch of accoutrements and equipment and stuff for the airbrush. So all I need to do is get them up and out. So I could have built a simple shelf, but instead I went and 3D printed this honeycomb pegboard system, and then because you can print out all kinds of things that you can plug into it that'll hold your bottles and your tubes and everything. So I did that, and then none of them fit. I went on the site, it's like, oh, you want to hold your glue stick? Here's a picture of the glue stick that you, Ryan, own. You just have to print this part. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I printed this part and I got it. And my glue stick didn't fit inside it. Don't Photoshop this image. Like, whoa, hello. Thank you very much. Thank you for subscribing. David Pugo Vera. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So where were we here? So my glue stick didn't fit. Anyway, so I spent the weekend having to go in with, what do you call it, calipers, and like measuring my glue sticks and all my bottles and everything, and then going into Blender and like reconfiguring all these 3D files so that they fit all my stuff. So now I've printed everything and it fits, and I just have to wash and stick the board, wash it because you got glue on your 3D printer and it comes off all sticky. So I gotta wash everything, and then I gotta mount everything, and I gotta plug everything in, and then I will have the setup of my dreams to get stuff up and off the table, and then I can start airbrushing, and that will be sometime next year. That's where I'm at. What do we got in the? We're still talking about Grant dying in the chat. Any final words before we put this one to bed? I think you know I'm very excited about this game. My number 2 game of all time. Can't wait to play it. Can't wait to punch it. Can wait to paint it, but I think it's come down to that now. At least I'll do the base captains. And oh, let's take one more look before we go at these beautiful. Can we find out this artist's name, by the way? This fantasy artist who did these guys. Oh, let's look at this guy one more time. Oh, he's so cool. That guy's so cool. He's got a dodo on his head. Come on, how are you not excited about this? Oh my gosh. Oh, so good. Anyway, an ad starting in 1 minute and 55 seconds. And you know what? Forget you, Bezos. We're gonna get out of here before that happens. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next time we do a stream, I'm gonna make sure that all the graphics work. And then I've been working behind the scenes very hard on other cool stuff that'll happen in the stream that'll make it even more participatory and interactive, so look out for that. Until next time, I'm Ryan. Subscribe and like and follow Knights Around the Table, and thank you for all your ongoing continued support. Arrivederci, bye-bye. Did you just watch that whole thing? Oh, hey, to 100% this video, click the badge to subscribe, and then click the bell to get notifications when I've got new stuff.